I want to get back to the idea of these multi-agent human collaborative societies a little bit. You mentioned how it won't just be boring business processes, on the internet and the cloud, on people's machines that are being handled. It sounds to me there like you might also be talking about real world embodiments of agents like robots. Is that correct?
That is correct. So the way we think about the way agents are going to come together and collaborate, and I'll give you one example, which is one of my favorite examples that actually came in through a pharma company. And they were talking about this whole motion from wet labs to dry labs or in silico discovery of drugs. And the way he was describing the process, this person was they're using LLMs to first figure out a plan and the goal for what drugs they want to discover. So you start with an LLM, you go through some reasoning, some plan discovery planning, and you come up with a plan. And so that's the LLM front end, so to speak, to this entire process. From there, you would go to a scientific foundation model. So something like a protein folding model, where you an AlphaFold, where you explore all the possible scenarios for protein combination, and that's the language that foundation model is speaking. And it's a pure exploration. And so based on that exploration, you tweak it, you prune it, you figure out what of those makes sense to then go towards a wet lab. And so the wet lab is looking at robotics, embodied AI, taking those explorations and actually trying it out in real life, in the physical world. And from there, you would get into human trials and possibly animal trials as well. And underlying all of these are other agents that are looking for efficacy, they're looking for cost, they're looking for compliance. So, all of the things that you need to do to make it a business and not just a scientific exploration. So, if you think about that entire pipeline, you've got language models, you've got scientific foundation models, you've got embodied agents, you've got compliance and cost and safety, for lack of a better word, agents, all coming together to solve for better drugs. And more of this is going to happen. Where is a platform that enables all of these agents to come together and collaborate? And that's the problem that we went after because it's not siloed to one vendor, it's not siloed to one cloud, it's not siloed to one vertical. It's really, really heterogeneous in nature. And it's trying to bring all of those things together to solve for one big goal.
And so that's you're specifically talking about agency there.
So I'm talking about the Internet of Agents and how that translates to agency, which is the open source manifestation of Internet of Agents.
Gotcha. And so when we say Internet of Agents, does that includes in the future these real world embodiments? Like it's just basically the Internet of Agents is like the interconnectivity of all of these non-human intelligences that will be going around helping us on our screens or off our screens.
Yes. So when we think about the Internet of Agents is the embodiment of probabilistic agentic software in all of these verticals that we just talked about. So whether it's social interaction, scientific discovery, B2B software, services, as well as physical embodiment in physical AI robotics. And it's not just the communication aspect of it, but it's also how do we discover capabilities? How do we identify them? How do we compose them into workflows or, in fact, self forming teams? And then how do we help them communicate with each other? And then finally, how do we even help evaluate them? Because they're all here to do something for us. They're not just here to talk and communicate and have fun. So, how do we evaluate them and make sure that they are going towards a common goal?